tables are as follows: platinum $60,000 a, diamond $50,000 a, gold $40,000 a, and silver $35,000 a. Each table comes with 10 gala dinner tickets and cash power raffle tickets. Individual tickets $1,500 a. January 25th, that is the dance at the Paradise Suites Hotel, Penchami Hall. The tickets are as follows: VIP $600 a, ordinary $400 a. Chief guest of honor for the night: Modu Turo Dabo, Aja Chan Khan, and Fatu Toure. And at Brikama Joko, which is January 27th, the tickets are $200 a flat. Chief guest of honor: Lamin Sane, Governor of West Coast Region, Aja Fatu Sow, Farato Alcalo, and Amidou Ja Oil. For reservations, please call 366-4096, 997-3500, 384-6607, 980-2992.
Welcome back to the news. Protests have erupted once again at Egypt's Tahrir Square, a day before the second-year anniversary of the uprising that toppled Hosni Mubarak. Pro- and anti-Morsi supporters clashed with police on Thursday night, and tens of thousands of people have fled their homes in southern Mozambique following heavy floods that swept the country. We have details of this and other stories in this African News Roundup.
Police battled protesters in Tahrir Square on Thursday night, a day before a planned rally to mark the second anniversary of the uprising that toppled Hosni Mubarak. On Friday morning, they were joined by thousands of opposition supporters. A number of checkpoints were set up around the square to verify the identities of people taking part. Another demonstration was held outside the presidential palace. Opponents of Egypt's President Mohamed Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood accused the president of being autocratic and of having betrayed the revolution. Nicolas Tiangaye, the new Prime Minister of the Central African Republic, is in talks with opposition parties over the formation of a national unity government. On Friday morning in Bangui, Mr. Tiangaye said he would no longer wait for the list of nominees from the presidential majority before choosing his cabinet. The new government will be structured in accordance with the agreement reached in Libreville. It will be comprised of 30 ministers drawn from the main political parties, the Rebel Alliance Seleka, and civil society. Tens of thousands of people have fled their homes in southern Mozambique following the heavy floods that swept through the country on Wednesday. Aid agencies are struggling to deliver tents, food, and other supplies to the hardest-hit areas, which lie 230 kilometers north of the capital. Flooding in the south of the country has disrupted the exportation of electricity to South Africa, cutting transmissions by half. Some 15,000 crocodiles have escaped from a farm in South Africa's far north. Heavy rains and flooding of the Limpopo River forced the owner of the farm, a favorite tourist attraction, to open the gates to release water after the storm surge. About half the crocodiles have been recaptured. The rest are thought to have escaped into the bush and the Limpopo. One family rescued from their flooded house said there were crocodiles swimming around them.
North Korea has threatened South Korea with heavy physical countermeasures if Seoul take part in any UN sanctions against the secretive nation. This latest bickering between the neighboring states comes amidst the fallout from the December rocket launch by Pyongyang. CNN's Matthew Chance gauges the reaction of South Korea to this threat.
It's the latest alarming threat from North Korea, this time aimed at its southern neighbour. On the country's evening newscast, the presenter talks of the puppet group of traitors, Pyongyang's term for the government of South Korea. We will take strong physical countermeasures against them, she reads, if they take a direct part in any UN sanctions. It's unclear what her state has in mind, but this increasingly blunt rhetoric is part of the fallout of a December rocket launch by Pyongyang, an international reaction to it. It was condemned by the UN Security Council, which imposed more crippling sanctions earlier this week. And the latest threat comes just a day after this nuclear one, broadcast in defiant tone the night before. Satellites and long-range rockets will be launched one after another, officials in Pyongyang announced, as well as a nuclear test to target the United States in what they called a new phase of their anti-US struggle. North Korea has already conducted 2 nuclear tests in 2006 and 2009. US officials say a third would only deepen the country's isolation. But analysts say that doesn't seem to be of paramount concern to its untested young leader, Kim Jong-un. There are signs that even China, Pyongyang's economic lifeline, is increasingly frustrated. In an unusual step, China voted for the resolution condemning North Korea last week at the Security Council, where it could have used its veto. And in a rare public rebuke, a state-run communist newspaper in Beijing carried this warning. If North Korea engages in further nuclear tests, China will not hesitate to reduce its assistance to North Korea. It may prove an empty threat, but Pyongyang, so dependent on China, is unlikely to have overlooked Beijing's obvious annoyance. Matthew Chance, CNN Seoul.
Well, time now to take another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at sports. Stay tuned then.
At EcoBank, we see a great future, one that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back, and time now to join Fatou Jasseh for a look at the sports news. Fatou?
Thank you very much, Fatou Kamara. The Gambia might not be represented in the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations, but one person who continues to fly the country's flag in the tournament is Central referee Bakary Papa Gassama. The Gambia's top football referee made his second Africa Cup of Nations appearance, officiating the ill-tempered game between Tunisia and Algeria. Our MS Jallo has been following Papa's development and reports on his second sojourn in the continent's biggest footballing event.
Made a surprise but not surprising discovery in an ordinary-looking container in the Caribbean port.
Well, we're sorry about that, and that's all for sports. Back to you.
Well, that was actually a wrong report. We apologize for that, and we'll bring you the sports news again in our 10 p.m. news bulletin. And before we go, reminder of headlines. Gambia Postal Services has received plaudits from the National Assembly members as the institution registers a $22 million turnover. Pro and anti-mercy protesters are clashing at the famous Tahrir Square a day before the second anniversary of the uprising that unseated Hosni Mubarak. Heavy inundations in southern Mozambique have forced tens of thousands of people